Hello and welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris. I'm a fine artist, tattoo apprentice and designer living in Johannesburg, South Africa. Today, I would like to give you some tips for what to do before an appointment. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're going to assume a couple of different things. Firstly, we're going to assume that you're booking with a studio and not an individual artist. Secondly, we're going to assume that you have about a month until your appointment date. So let's start there. 1 month before. The first thing you should be doing is, of course, contacting your studio to book the appointment. This means emailing or messaging or calling and asking for their availability. At this point, there may be an expectation that you have done some research. You may need to provide the studio with some reference images for the kinds of tattoos that you're looking to have done, or the style of the tattoo that you're looking to have done. During the booking process, you also may be asked to pay a deposit. And as you know, I'm a huge advocate for consultations, so if a consultation is suggested, I always advise that you take it. You may also be expected to pay upfront for the consultation at this point. Let's jump 2 weeks ahead. Now is the time to follow up with your artist regarding your design, if the design has not already been finalized. And at this point, you may have to pay for the design. 2 weeks before is also a good time to consider finalizing placement if you haven't already. You have a couple of options for finalizing placement. I often suggest that people request that their artist draw up a stencil of their design. This is good practice for the artist, or for the apprentices that work in their studio at least. The stencil can be placed onto your skin and will last 24 to 48 hours if not actively scrubbed off. This can help you get an idea of what the tattoo will look like once it's been fully applied. If you haven't decided on placement at all, another nice idea is to buy some temporary tattoos and place them in the various positions that you are considering being tattooed. Spend some time, take some photos, look at yourself in the mirror, and wear them for as long as they last. You may be surprised by how you feel after having to look at a tattoo in that spot for 2 or 3 days. At this point, if you haven't already, you should book yourself off work. Make sure that your appointment date doesn't clash with any other appointments that you have, and make sure that you're free for that day. Now is also the chance, if you've had a consultation or if you're going to have a consultation, to discuss with your artist any medications that you might be taking, as some medications can thin the blood and may affect your tattoo experience. Let's skip forward to 3 days before your appointment. Now, I already know, I can already see the comments. A lot of tattoo artists are going to tell me that this is unnecessary, but I often advise people to moisturize the area that they're going to be tattooed. This is especially important if you work a job outdoors, or if your skin is very dry or sun damaged. Please remember not to moisturize the day of your tattoo, as your moisturizer can interact with the cleaning process, the stenciling process, etc. But 3 days before, up to a day before, moisturizing the area where you're going to be tattooed can actually be incredibly helpful to your artist. Now is also the time to buy numbing cream if you plan to be using numbing cream. In South Africa, you can buy numbing cream from most pharmacies and online. Most pharmacies will have it, just ask for Emola or Super Numb. 3 days before is also a good time to contact the studio and follow up. Make sure that your appointment date is actually the date that you think it is. We're all human, we all make mistakes. Make sure that you have paid everything that needs to be paid. Your deposit, your design fee, your consultation fee, all paid. Make sure that your artist is happy with the design and with the placement, and discuss with the studio or with the artist anything that they advise you do now. The day before. It goes without saying, or does it? But no drugs and no drinks the day before a tattoo. You do not want to be hungover while getting tattooed, trust me. If your artist has estimated that your tattoo will be longer than 2 hours, it's a good idea to prep something to do. Download some series on Netflix, pack a book in your backpack, bring a coloring book, whatever tickles your fancy. If you feel very comfortable, or if you do it regularly, shave the area where you're going to be tattooed. If there's only very light hair, such as on your neck, this shouldn't be necessary. If it's somewhere where you have a lot of hair or the hair is very visible, it is advisable to shave. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable, please don't shave. Your artist will be happy to do this for you, and if you cut or nick yourself, we absolutely cannot tattoo the area. Lastly, make sure that you hydrate well and have a good night's rest. And yay! The day of the tattoo. The day of your tattoo, regardless of the time of day that you're being tattooed, make sure you eat a substantial meal before coming. We want your blood sugar all the way up to limit the possibility of you fainting. Once again, I will reiterate to hydrate, but remember to tell your artist when you need breaks, as a full bladder can affect your experience of the tattooing. Once again, I will remind you to inform your artist if you are taking any chronic or irregular medications. Things like paracetamol can actually thin the blood, so pain medication is kind of a no-no. If you are on clotting medication, you should have already told your artist, but let's say you forgot, it's time to tell them now. Remember to pack your ID, whatever it is you're planning to do while you're being tattooed. And lastly, dress appropriately. Make sure that the area that you're being tattooed is easily accessible by your artist, and be sure not to wear any clothing that is white. Regardless of what's being tattooed, we don't want to stain your clothes. I often advise people to wear very dark clothing or older clothes so they don't mind getting a couple ink spots on to be tattooed. You should also prioritize your comfort in the way that you dress, so integrate all of those things and try not to make a fashionable choice, make a practical choice. If you have any other ideas of things that people should do or that clients should do before their appointments, drop them in the comments down below. I hope that this gave you guys some idea of how to structure your month leading up to your next tattoo appointment, and I hope that you learned something. Once again, if you have any comments or requests, you know where to drop them, and as I always say, have fun, good luck, and be safe. Goodbye for now.